How does a man go from being $400 million in debt to becoming a billionaire? The secret, incredibly, lies in this humble bag of seaweed. This isn't just a snack. It's a symbol of one of the most astonishing business comebacks ever. It's the story of how a fallen prodigy, crushed by failure, turned a simple, everyday item into a billion-dollar empire. Stick around because you won't believe how he pulled it off. His name is Itthipat Kulapongvanich, but you might know him better as Top. Before the seaweed, before the billions, he was a legend in a different world, the virtual world. As a teenager, while his classmates were buried in textbooks, Top was conquering online gaming. He wasn't just playing for fun, he was a master strategist, a digital warlord who dominated the competitive scene. He earned respect, fame, and a shocking amount of real money. By age 16, he was pulling in over $10,000 a month, buying a car and living a life most adults could only dream of. He was a prodigy, a self-made kid who seemed to have the Midas touch. The future looked dazzlingly bright, a straight path to even greater success. But in the unpredictable game of life, the highest climbs often precede the steepest falls. And fall he did, the virtual empire Top had built came crashing down. The game developers, unhappy with players profiting from their virtual currency, banned his account. Just like that, his income stream vanished overnight. His digital kingdom turned to dust. The cocky, successful teenager was suddenly cut off at the knees. This wasn't just a financial blow, it was a crisis of identity. The game had been his entire world. Without it, who was he? To make matters unimaginably worse, at this exact moment of personal crisis, his family's business collapsed. They were suddenly bankrupt, facing a staggering debt of over 400 million Thai baht, roughly 12 million US dollars. The family home was on the brink of being seized, and his parents, overwhelmed and desperate, decided to move to China to start over, leaving a heartbroken and directionless Top behind in Thailand. He was 19 years old, alone, and saddled with a debt that seemed impossible to ever repay. The prodigy had hit rock bottom. The weight of that debt was suffocating. Every waking moment was a reminder of his failure, his family's hardship, and the mountain of money he owed. The taste of failure is bitter, a constant, acrid presence in your throat. For Top, it was a flavor he couldn't escape. He was no longer the celebrated gamer. He was just another statistic, another failed entrepreneur. The world that had once seemed so full of promise now felt like a prison. He tried desperately to pivot, attempting to sell roasted chestnuts. He poured what little money he had left into it, hoping for a quick turnaround, but the business struggled. Finding good locations was a nightmare, and the logistics were far more complicated than he ever imagined. Every closed door, every failed negotiation, was another nail in the coffin of his confidence. He was wandering the aisles of a convenience store, lost in a fog of despair, when a small, insignificant bag of fried seaweed caught his eye, a snack his girlfriend enjoyed. A tiny spark flickered in the darkness. Could this be it? Could this simple, crispy snack be his way out? It was a long shot, a gamble born from sheer desperation, but it was the only hope he had. Armed with a crazy idea, Top decided to bet everything on seaweed. He dove into the project with the same intensity he once had for gaming. He spent his days and nights in the kitchen, a makeshift laboratory of woks, oil, and seasonings. The goal was to create the perfect fried seaweed snack, crispy, flavorful, and utterly addictive. But it was a nightmare. Batch after batch was a disaster. Sometimes it was too salty, other times too bland. It would be soggy, burnt, or just plain disgusting. He burned through his savings, buying raw seaweed and ingredients, only to throw away mountains of failed attempts. The smell of hot oil and failure filled his small apartment. Friends and family thought he was crazy. He was a laughingstock, the kid who went from digital riches to stinking up his kitchen with burnt seaweed. He was exhausted, broke, and on the verge of giving up. At this point, you have to wonder, when the world is telling you to quit, when every single attempt ends in failure, where do you find the strength to fry just one more batch? What keeps a person going when all hope seems lost? We're about to find out because what he did next changed everything. The breakthrough came not from a new ingredient, but from a shift in perspective. He realized he needed a bigger market, a seal of approval that would instantly grant him credibility. His target, 7-Eleven, the convenience store giant, was the pinnacle of retail in Thailand. Getting his product on their shelves would be a game changer. But getting a meeting was one thing, convincing them was another. The executives at 7-Eleven were brutal. They tore his product apart. The packaging was unprofessional, the shelf life was too short, and the quality was inconsistent. They rejected him, not once, but multiple times. Each rejection felt like a physical blow, but instead of surrendering, Top listened. He treated every criticism not as an insult, but as a roadmap. He went back to his kitchen, his small factory, and addressed every single point. He designed new packaging. He obsessed over quality control. He invested in machinery to ensure a longer shelf life. He was relentless. Finally, he secured another meeting. He walked in, not as a desperate kid with a homemade snack, but as a serious businessman with a viable product. He presented his new and improved seaweed. The executives were stunned. They tasted it, examined the packaging, and saw the transformation. They agreed to a trial run, placing his product in thousands of their stores. This was it. The 7-Eleven gambit had paid off. The moment Tao Kae Noi seaweed hit the shelves of 7-Eleven, everything changed. It was an instant sensation. Customers loved the crispy texture and the unique, savory flavors. It flew off the shelves faster than anyone could have predicted. The small trial order quickly turned into massive, nationwide distribution. The crunch of his seaweed was soon heard all across Thailand. Top went from being a one-man operation in a kitchen to the CEO of a rapidly expanding food empire. He paid off his family's entire 400 million baht debt in just 2 years. But he didn't stop there. He expanded his factory, developed new flavors, and began exporting his product. Tao Kae Noi went international, becoming a beloved snack in countries across Asia and beyond. The company went public, and Top, the kid who was once drowning in debt, officially became a billionaire. His story was so incredible it was even turned into a hit movie, The Billionaire. He had not just recovered. He had built an empire from the ashes of his failure, all thanks to that simple bag of seaweed. So what's the lesson here? Is it that you should go out and start frying seaweed? No, the real lesson from Top's story is about resilience. It's about seeing opportunity where others see only despair. Top's gaming background didn't just teach him how to make money. It taught him how to problem solve, how to strategize, and most importantly, how to get back up after being knocked down. When his gaming world collapsed, he took that same fighting spirit into the real world. Failure wasn't the end for him, it was data. Every burnt batch of seaweed, every rejection from 7-Eleven, was just a level he had to beat. He shows us that your greatest failure can contain the seeds of your greatest success, but only if you have the courage to plant them, water them with perseverance, and never, ever give up. His journey proves that with the right mindset, even the most crushing defeat can be transformed into an epic win. Thank you so much for watching. If Top's story inspired you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of incredible entrepreneurs. Let us know in the comments what your biggest takeaway was. We'll see you in the next one.